And welcome back to the drawing board. Once again, my name is Mark Saxon. Thank you for joining me for yet another week. Had some fun last weekend. I know it's been talked about 400 different times, but I want to give you my take on UFC 320. Let's jump into it. Happy Friday, bees. Yeah, yeah, no, that hit right. All right, so first and foremost, I called for Piper to win. Piper did win by submission. Looked good. Called. I picked Emmett. Emmett just was getting bullied in there, and that's unfortunate. But Hazel, tough opponent. Like I said, he was no bitch. Khalil Roundtree and Prohaska. Roundtree, man, he had it. He was aggressive, like I was hoping he'd be. How he started off, left an opening, and like I said, Prohaska's no bitch. Came in there, got a good few hits on the head, and just went off. He teed off, so got the KO on that one. Fantastic, congratulations. Corey Sandhagen and Davalishvili, man. Unfortunate. I'm winning by decision. Corey Sandhagen just kind of ran out of gas, started getting bullied at the end. Like I said, if there was anybody to beat him, I think it's Sandhagen. I think we should get a Sandhagen Davalishvili too. I think Sandhagen should work on not just his ground game, but being able to stay on his feet because that's how you're going to beat Davalishvili. You got to tip your cap to Davalishvili. He was able to weather the storm there. Good on him. Now, Pereira, Ankalaev too. Wow. Magomed saying that Chama is dead. Alex Pereira with the knockout, as he did. I was happy. Like I said, always rooting for Pereira. I did not think he was going to win this one, so I got that wrong. I even lost money on it. Just because last fight, he didn't show much. He wasn't putting anything out there, and then I find out just before the fight on Saturday that the last fight, the original fight, he was sick and battling illness and this and that. And obviously, last weekend he come out doing exactly what we all expected him to do the first time around. And just once he got that slightest opening, did not let up. So proud of Pereira, good, happy for him. I agree with a lot of the fighters saying, that it would have been boring as shit watching Ankalaev wrestle everybody down to the ground. So I love watching Pereira do what he did. Let's move it on to the NCAA football. Some good games this upcoming weekend. The rankings right now, as it sits on this Friday night: Ohio State number one, Miami number two, Oregon three, Ole Miss four, A&M, Texas A&M in the top five, Oklahoma six, Indiana seven, Bama eight. Which Bama? I mean, I called them trash, and they're winning. They're winning left and right. Texas Tech nine, Georgia 10. Usually I stop at the top 10, but LSU number 11, coming up two spaces on the bye week. I don't know, man. LSU has me worried. Losing to Ole Miss, they cannot. Ole Miss has their number these last couple of years, but not that Ole Miss I'm saying is a shit ball team. It's just the way LSU was shaping up this year. They were supposed to have that one. Nonetheless, let's start off LSU, South Carolina, tomorrow afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at. It's a 4:45 where I'm at tomorrow afternoon, so that's going to be fun. Obviously, I'm picking LSU to win that one. I think this is their bounce back. I think another fun one is going to be Ohio State and Illinois starting off the day, only because Illinois, had a couple of big wins, 5-1. I think Ohio State's gonna beat them. Bama coming on a tear, facing a Mizzo, 5-0. I think Bama's gonna win that one. I hate saying that after all the shit I talked about them, but they're making me eat crow. I think another fun one is going to be Oregon and Indiana. Oregon and Indiana, I think is going to be a shootout, but I think Oregon's going to win by bunches. The next one is Oklahoma and Texas. I think Oklahoma's going to run away with it. Not crazy, maybe by two scores, but Texas, for whatever reason, just can't figure it out. So I think Oklahoma's going to be able to take advantage of that. Texas A&M and Florida, I think is going to be fun to watch. Florida putting up a big fight last weekend or the weekend before, but I think Texas A&M has this one as they got them at home. And then Texas Tech and Kansas. I think that's just. I mean, I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. I think Texas Tech, starting off hot, 5-0, top 10, taking on a Kansas team at home. I think it's just going to be a fun one to watch. And then Georgia and Auburn. Auburn's always going to give Georgia problems. Georgia showing a lot of holes against Bama last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, whatever it was. So I think those are the games to kind of look out for. Michigan, USC, Arizona State and Utah, Arizona, BYU. Those might be entertaining games as well, but I don't think they don't make my list for the others the top to watch. Going to the NFL right now, as it stands in the East, Buffalo 4-1 in the AFC East. Sorry, Buffalo 4-1, Pats 3-2, Miami 1-4, Jets 0-5. Kind of expected a little bit better after that first week with Justin Fields and company. Watching them play against Pittsburgh, they played them tough. Not that they've been getting really blown out, but I figured a few more would bounce their way. In the North, Pittsburgh 3-1. I think Pittsburgh is going to run away with it. As Cincy is 2-3, Baltimore falling to 1-4, Cleveland 1-4. Going to the South, where Indiana Jones making a name for himself, a new name, if you will, no longer Danny Dimes. The Colts 4-1, the Jags 4-1, and the Texans 2-3, Titans 1-4. So that's crazy work, crazy business. AFC West shaping up to be real interesting with the Chargers dropping to the Giants and the Commanders. 3-2, Denver 3-2. Denver with a big win last weekend, handing the Eagles their first loss. The Chiefs 2-3, and the Raiders doing what the Raiders do at 1-4. The NFC East, Philly 4-2, losing to the Giants on Thursday Night Football. Huge game by Scatabo too. Washington 3-2, Dallas 2-2-1, and then the Giants 2-4. The Giants might be finding a way with Jackson Dart and Scatabo getting the ball more. Going to the North, Detroit 4-1-0, Green Bay 2-1-1. Ouch. They need to get rid of that overtime rule. Play till somebody wins. Play till somebody wins. Minnesota 3-2, and the Bears 2-2. NFC South, Tampa 4-1. Baker Mayfield just slinging it, having a year so far. Getting beat up, but he's having a year. Atlanta 2-2, Carolina 2-3, New Orleans 1-4. NFC West, San Fran still finding ways to win, 4-1. Seattle 3-2, Rams 3-2, and the Cardinals can't get out of their own way at a 2-3. I don't understand. Some of the games I think that are going to be fun to watch this weekend. Obviously, I'm going to watch my Packers, and I think it's going to be interesting because Joe Flacco getting traded to the Bengals after he already beat the Packers once. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think the Jets and the Broncos are going to be interesting. I think that's going to be an extremely defensive game if you want to wake up that early to watch the overseas game. I think another good one that we could watch is going to be Seattle and Jacksonville. Is Jacksonville finding ways to win? I mean, even if they're not pretty, and then Seattle just being a tough opponent. And then the Niners and the Bucks. I think that'll be fun. Like I said, the Niners are scratching and fighting, finding a way to win, and Baker Mayfield and company just having a year. And then finally, I think the Chiefs and the Lions will be fun to watch. There's a few more games out there, yeah. Monday night, you got the Bills and the Falcons. I expect the Bills to handle business. You got the Commies and the Bears. I expect the Commies to handle business. And then kind of everything in between. The Colts, I feel like, should run through the Cardinals. The Rams, depending on, the situation with Lamar and, kind of that whole team for whatever reason just fell apart last weekend. So kind of giving that one to the Rams. Really not seeing any other. Browns and Steelers, I guess, always put out. You got the division rivalry there. But, yeah, those are the only games I really think will be fun to watch. So moving on to our Bucket Friday bets. Just for right now, I'm going to let it settle, let it marinate for a bit. But for right now, I'm sticking with college football. I'm going to take Texas A&M over Florida at a minus 298. I'm going to take LSU over South Carolina at a minus 325. I think that's going to be a good bounce back game for LSU. against the not so easy opponent. Ohio over Illinois at a minus 650. Oregon over Indiana at a minus 298. Oklahoma over Texas at a minus 112. And just for shits and gigs, TCU over Kansas State at a minus 120. $5. Get you $46.69. Let's have a weekend, folks. You got some UFC tomorrow. It's a fight night. Really, the only one that I'm paying attention to is Charlie Olives and Gamrot. I think that's going to be a good contest. There's some other younger guys, if you follow the sport well enough, some other younger guys making their way through the UFC. I think they might be interesting and have a good time to watch. But Saturday, college day, got some UFC in the afternoon, followed by NFL Sunday. So have a weekend, throw some bets down, drink some beers. Once again, I'm Mark Saxon. This is Back to the Drawing Board. Thank you for joining me for yet another week. Have some fun.